Welcome back, guys, to All in Focus. Manny, everything just like that. All right, are we doing it? Was this live?
Are we on?
Wait, is this live? Oh, this is live. Shit.
I'm flying over Monmouth Mall right now.
You're flying over Monmouth Mall, Manny. Look at this. We got people watching us right now, man, and you look like you're wearing military-grade space
I haven't
goggles.
seen Monmouth Mall from the area with the demolition.
What are you looking at? What are we seeing? Monmouth Mall,
A lot of
destruction.
garbage, destruction, and all kinds of stuff.
Wow, man.
I guess we should get into it.
I guess so.
All right, everybody. Welcome
up?
back to All in Focus, the Creators Podcast. I am Manny with my buddy Mark. How you guys doing today? What's up, Mark?
Doing, man?
What's up?
No, nothing much. Just working, editing, grinding through all the edits. Fun,
It's always editing, right?
It's like trying to slam a revolving door. That's what I tell people. Yeah. So it's a good time. But I'm good. I got my coffee today. Paris baguette. Paris baguette.
That's right around the corner, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
Going with the Dunkin' today.
Let me
a
tell
French
you.
vanilla.
Oh, French vanilla. It's
my go-to.
Little French, little Paris.
Hey, oui, you know.
Hey, how you doing? All right. But no, really cool. So the guy, I was like, hey, can I order a cappuccino? I blinked and he handed it to me. I was like, whoa. I literally said to him, I was like, dude, you just Amazon Prime this? He started laughing. He made that thing so quick. It's back pretty
great.
quick. But yeah, no, got it just in time for the podcast here.
Awesome.
Excited. So what's up with you?
Nothing. I was in the city.
Yes.
Had a Getty job with Cynthia Nixon. That was fun.
Awesome.
You know what I did for the first time? And this is why I tell you guys, this podcast isn't just going to be about weddings. It's not going to be just about photography and videography. It's a little bit about everything. So I had my first experience at the NASDAQ building on 43rd Street.
Ooh.
It was a company that they went IPO'd in 2020, but due to the virus and the COVID, they were not able to ring the bell on the NASDAQ. So yesterday I experienced my first time going there for this company called Global E.
Okay.
And shout out to Tap Snap Photo Booth for hooking me up with that job, right? Because what we do, we're all networkers
Connections,
around
man.
here. Connections are everything. So I appreciate that very much. But for me, it was my first time at the NASDAQ building. And from the moment they greet you there, everyone is so nice.
Really?
Like you're thinking financial.
Yeah.
People are going to be maybe a little snooty,
You
whatever.
think they'd be in
you have these pre-misconceptions about things.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I totally went in there.
Very
like,
business.
Wow, everyone's so damn nice,
Yeah.
So we go up and there's probably about 60 employees from this company called Global E.
Right.
And they're all there to celebrate ringing in the bell and being on the NASDAQ. And they have a little cocktail reception. Everybody gathers. And just like we talked about, with Jason being on the USS Intrepid as the video guy and photographer, NASDAQ has their own studio.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
So it's their own studio, full production.
Wow.
Girls with headsets, cameramen all around, and everything is live and it's broadcast.
In studio,
in
lights,
studio,
cameras, action.
Lights, camera, action, and everything that's going on inside is broadcast outside on the NASDAQ tower.
On that
right
screen. Yes. That makes sense.
So they have their own photographer.
That's cool.
And she was so awesome. And I'm like, look, I've never been here before. Feel free to tell me where to be, where to stand. I don't want to get in anybody's way. I'm just here for the company to capture all the, the fun. And she was so cool. And I'm telling you, that's if you go into these things thinking this is her house, right? It's not my house. So I got to go in there, be very polite. And,
respectful,
hey, that's all it takes. Just
Simple.
a little bit of respect, right?
Yeah.
But she was so cool. She directed me. We got everything we needed. And then about 3:45, I went outside of Times Square. And my job was basically to get everything that was being broadcast on the NASDAQ.
Oh,
building.
neat.
It was so cool.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Cool experience. I love when you always text me, I'm headed to the city. It always starts out like that. Headed to the city. And I'm like, for what reason? What's today's adventure going to be?
Yesterday, too. That's
Yeah,
our
right?
daily thing, right?
I love that. I like go to the city. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh, now what? Like, where are we going today?
And that was fun. Like I said, that was the first time for me. And
Yeah.
then I jumped in a cab, went up to Lincoln Center, and
cool.
photographed this thing with Cynthia Nixon, director, and her daughter.
Sweet.
And that was a lot of fun.
At least it's nearby. I would have thought when you said NASDAQ, I'm like, dude, you got to be in like Lower Manhattan, Wall Street.
I thought the same.
that's
I thought it'd be
huge
down by
save.
the financial district.
Correct,
They're
yeah.
right there on 43rd Street,
Yeah.
Times Square.
It's a different vibe down there,
Really
too.
cool, though.
Yeah. But cool, NASDAQ, man, over there. Sweet.
Yeah, but getting into the whole idea of they have their own photographer. So if you think you can there's so many things you wouldn't even think about, right?
Yeah. People have their own
a
crews for
photographer
their
on the
own.
NASDAQ.
Yeah, they got it. Yeah. Interesting, in-house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very similar to Jason,
Yeah, and very much
Except
so,
he's on a
because
boat.
I never knew that the USS Intrepid could have a a guy like Jason on there.
Yeah,
to
full
handle
blown
all their
like
social content,
yeah,
their YouTube page.
major
amazing.
job. Yeah, very cool.
Oh, and also I want to give a big shout out to you.
Ooh,
Nice referral for the wedding that we have coming up.
I'm excited for that.
Summer, right? Yeah.
This or no, maybe next summer actually. No, 26.
26,
It's
that's
one
right, yeah.
further out. But either way, yeah, no, I'm excited. Cool couple, man. Yeah, I did that bridal show, and they were like one of the first clients to just
Yeah. And that worked out, right?
client. Yeah, and then they were like, I was like, well, listen, I got another guy here for photo if you need, and he was like similar to your background, of course, retired military and all that, and I was like,
Great guy.
I said, dude, this is like the perfect fit. Come on
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
yin and yang.
Yeah, and they were so nice on the phone. I spoke
cool
with them,
couple.
and we
Really
had
nice
a
couple.
great conversation, and they were happy to book. And
Yeah.
I told them, I said, with Mark and I, your day is just going to be
I told them.
absolute fun. Yeah, it's
I literally told him, I said, well, now it's a party. When
Yeah.
he said, FYI, we ended up booking Manny. I said, well, now it's a party. I said, you got both of us on deck.
Right.
But yeah, isn't it cool though too? Like, so really quick, just to touch on this, I did the bridal show. They don't know me. They just met me. I'm one table of many. But I feel like once they get talking to us and they get to see like how we cook and all this stuff, you know what I mean? It's like, then they're like, how could you not? And again, that's like personality is huge.
Right.
And we kind of stress that in some of the other episodes. And it's like your energy, your vibe, when they kind of like accept that, like, oh, these guys are cool. Like, it's not intimidating, or it's not like, we make it so easy. And I think people like that, and they like answer to that pretty well. And hence why I think when they booked you, they booked me,
Yeah, and just
So-
to add to that, like yesterday at the NASDAQ building, I was working for another company, but I'm representing that company.
Right.
Right, I wasn't
True.
booked under MTC Photography. I was booked under
Right.
TapSnap with Melanie, our good friend.
Yeah.
And I went in there just like it would be if it was me. I'm representing her company. I got to go in there and
Yeah.
get the job done. And they love me, and
Right.
I love them. They were awesome. They were like, we'll
call
keep
you
you in
back.
mind for future. That's exactly.
How you
what they
doing?
said.
Hey.
We'll keep you in mind for future events. We'll talk to Melanie. I'm like, great. I'm
Boom.
happy to
Let me
work
know.
with you. They're just
Yeah.
such cool people, and that's a great vibe.
Right. Well, you crush it all the time. Amex, right? They call you back, right? All
Amex
these
is
people call.
awesome.
Yeah. Like once you hit it off with these people and they know like this guy's awesome, we can work with him. He's easygoing. He respects the house. All this stuff. Like it's just checking off boxes. You know what I mean?
And it's the same thing what we were talking about. You can have you're at your wedding. What would you call it? The bridal expo, whatever
Yeah.
it was. And you have all your work there, and everybody's work. If you're in the professional photography or videography, your work should be pretty good, right? To display and show people. But
Of course.
that's just part of it.
Right.
But then they have to meet the person behind the camera, the person behind the video camera, the person behind the cell phone, whatever it is, whatever you're doing, whether it's social content creation, videography, photography, the DJ, whoever.
all
They
about
have
that.
to meet you and then connect on a more personal level.
Yeah. Once they get
Because you're not spending 10 hours with somebody that you don't want to spend 10 hours with.
Right.
Right?
But I've experienced that. I have experienced working with other people that are just like, dude, like I think a saltine cracker has more personality than this guy, and I'm just like,
Another good one.
I'm like,
You come up with these good ones,
I'm just
bro.
saying them. It's the shoe fits. I'm like, and I felt bad. I mean, the guy was nice, but just no personality, and he was just like, all right, just move over a little. We're gonna
Yeah.
take
They're
a
out
big
there.
happy
They're out
photo.
there,
And
yeah.
I'm like, ooh, like here, I'm like, let me take over, please. Like, no disrespect, but let's lighten up the 75-year-old bingo night mood here.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Whatever.
So, real quick, before
Yeah.
we get into why we're here today and our
Yes.
special guest, I do want to just talk about one thing that I think is crazy. It's going on Facebook right now.
oh,
Um,
yeah,
there's been these like Facebook forums for just about everything, right? You have all about such and such. It could be a city. It could be whatever it is. And I'm probably in a lot of those same groups that I'm talking about.
yeah.
And they'll say in search of a photographer, maybe in search of a wedding photographer, maybe in
ISO,
search of
yeah.
this. And all right, ISO, right?
I see it all the time.
But lately, when I'm seeing, I need a photographer on a budget or whatever it is. I forget the terminology that they were using, like somebody that doesn't break the bank. or
Oh
whatever
yeah,
it is.
yeah. On a
And
super strict budget.
Super strict budget. Someone that doesn't break the bank. Somebody, blah, blah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But man, the comments of these other photographers that are jumping on there just saying, hey, I'm available, I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah.
Nobody, and I look at the whole string,
Yeah.
said, hey, what do you need services for? What are you asking for? And then maybe I can give you a price based on that.
Right.
And I have no problem with people jumping on there. That's what it's for. But I asked the question, define breaking the bank.
Right,
And
like-
also, what are you looking for? So then I can therefore give you an honest quote.
Yeah, it's hard too because you're up against such a saturated space. And the moment these people post this thing, it's just like bing, 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 bing,
Yeah,
bing,
oh,
bing,
yeah.
bing, bing. And I don't hear that in Atlantic City, by the way. I only hear that on Facebook.
If we heard that Atlantic
Let's
City,
say
we
we
spend more time.
We might not be here. We'll be in like
It
some
takes our money
tropical
more than it
background.
gives it back.
Man, we need palm trees now. So no, but like you hear like the notifications blow up. You get all these people, oh, book me, here's this, here's that. And it's just like, let me tell you, if I were the person that made that post, who do you go to? How do you just scroll, see more,
Yeah.
see more, see more. And it's just like, at what point is like how much are you going to look at? And like, it's just crazy too. You're getting all walks of life. People just starting out, people that have been doing this forever, this and that. And it's just this one big saturated place, needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
But
And
you're
everyone's
right.
posting their friend. This one's great. This one did a great job
what
for
are we
my
cooking
friend.
with? What-
Like this one says this one did a great job for
Yeah.
my friend's wedding, but we don't know if it's a wedding.
Right,
You just
just
said
in
in
search
search
of
of a photographer that on a budget. you
Yeah,
know?
it's a lot of them say that. It's just like, yeah, you got to like ask these questions. They're kind of important, you know what I mean? It's like, that's what I always tell my clients. I'm like, please fill out my wedding form that way. Because then I'm like, if they ask for pricing, I'm like, well, do you want my like half day pricing? You want my full day pricing? I don't know what you want. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to give you high pricing if you're like, well, I only needed like ceremony reception. I'm like, well, how do I know that?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I always tell a client, here, just fill this out, and then we'll see what's going on and make
Yeah.
it work. But
I hear you.
yeah, dude, Facebook, man.
It's crazy. Facebook versus fake book. That's what I
yeah,
like to
well,
say,
yeah, that's a good one.
That's a
I
good
like
one,
that
right? Give me that one.
I'll give it to you. There you
So
go.
listen, so today we have a special guest, you know that?
We do, yes.
She's coming here to the studio.
Yes.
It's our good friend Lisa Fonarev, right?
Yes,
And she owns a company called Big Day BTS, and we've worked with her.
we have.
And what do
we
you-
had the
what
pleasure
were
to
your
work with
initial
her. There
thoughts?
she is. What?
What were your initial thoughts? She was amazing, right?
Oh, yeah,
Don't
right.
say it because she's here, but
Oh, okay, hold
what
on.
is it? Yeah.
So honestly, no. No,
amazing,
amazing.
right?
Yeah, pleasure to work with. Super easygoing. I mean, one of my biggest things is when you're working with like a big crowd or whatever. You got photo, video. Now you have content creation. It's like, all right, how are we all going to share the space?
Right.
We all like jive so well together.
It was great.
Huge,
Yeah,
big check
and
right off.
she
the
was
bat.
awesome. And she is a wedding content creator and social media manager. Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to bring in Lisa Fonarev to talk about what she's been doing in this world of wedding photography and social media. So stay tuned, everybody. She's coming up next.
Stand by.
All right, everybody, we are back.
With Lisa.
Lisa
Lisa.
Fonarev, how are you today?
I'm so great. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you so
First
much for
guest,
coming into
yeah.
the studio today. You are our first official guest here
Oh my god, I'm so
on the All in Focus
honored.
Creators podcast.
That sounds
Yeah.
like she deserves a prize. Do you have a
Guys.
prize for her?
We do have a prize for her.
Oh.
At the end of the,
Oh,
of the
okay.
podcast, we'll
All
give
right,
her a
all
little
right.
prize. It's not a prize, Mark. It's a gift.
Yeah,
for
yeah, it's a
coming on.
prize.
It's our
a new car.
our way of saying thank you.
The keys under your
prize.
seat. Feels like we're on Martha
What's wrong
Stewart
with
right now. It's a prize. Play until you win.
So, Lisa, what's new with you?
What's new with me? Honestly, a lot of things are new with me. I'm kind of, obviously, you said I was a wedding content creator, but I'm also trying to branch out into just like smaller events, working with other small businesses, just dabbling because weddings obviously are predominantly on the weekend.
Yeah.
So during the week, I have opportunity to kind of dip my toes in lots of other water.
Good for you. That's
I like it. Very cool.
So when we first met you was at a wedding. So we can talk about that. What was your because the reason why I want to bring this up and Mark and I have touched on this on a prior episode, how some vendors, more specifically photography and videography, have towards social content creators like yourself and might feel like, where are they coming from? What's their part in this world? Why are they doing what they're doing? They're undercutting, they're doing this. We certainly don't feel that way, not just because you're here. We've discussed this way before off camera.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the day that we left that wedding, we both said how awesome it was to not only meet you, but
Yeah.
working with you was great. You helped out a lot.
Well, it was almost like I just got to add to it.
Yeah,
you were the boogeyman. Like you were like these content creators, here they come, and it's like, oh no. But then like, so when we found out we have content creators, like, all right, like I've heard of you, no, but it was like, all right, like I'm cool with everybody. We're like, yeah, all right, we did it. And it's just like, dude, like what? What are people so like pissy about,
Yeah.
But no, it was a pleasure to work with you. Super easygoing, again, just everybody was like, hey, listen, we're all here for one agenda
And just
we all got it. Like,
just a real quick jump on that real too. The bride, right? So this is very important.
Yes.
That was Megan, and she told us about you. So I think that's really important that you weren't just a shock for us. Like we knew you were going to be there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool, right? So that was up to the
Yeah.
bride to let us know that, hey, listen, I hired a social content creator. She's going to be coming doing, BTS behind the scenes, doing her thing. Do you guys mind? We're like, not, absolutely not. Like
Yeah.
we'll all work together fine.
Yeah.
So we'd like to hear about your experience with us, and then you can tell us about how you got into this whole thing, because I know there's a past there, and love to hear about it.
Okay, so this is actually what I was most excited to talk about,
Great.
and I'm ready to jump right in.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So
Okay.
there are times where I will show up to a wedding and I don't know the vendor team. Like, I haven't worked with the photo or video people before. So obviously with anybody, you're like, oh, okay, we're going to meet somebody new today. But in my position, there have been a handful of times where I show up and I could just tell right off the bat that there's like this sense of animosity towards me when I haven't even
tension.
Yeah, I
opened
hate
my
that.
mouth yet.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't even done anything. It's just because of my role in the wedding industry.
Yeah.
And I was there before you guys, but when you showed up that day, instantly, like within 2 seconds of knowing each other, you guys were like, let's bop ideas off each other. Let's like see what she wants to do.
Yeah.
You were so friendly. And honestly, that's a lot less common from like seasoned photographers and people who have been in the industry for a long time, because they're more traditional. They know a ton and they have a ton of experience. So anything new and different can kind of not be like received super well. And I understand that, because change is hard and the industry is changing, especially
time.
with the addition of content becoming so popular.
Yeah.
But specifically the way you guys made me feel that day, I mean, aside from that, we were like joking around and like just having
Having
a
fun.
good time.
Right.
But you guys were interested in my ideas. You were open to hearing anything that I wanted to do, and you then wanted to do it for yourselves. Like, I'm pretty sure a few things that I did for my like video format, you were like, oh yeah, I want to try that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that is the way that everybody should behave. Like, we all have such different creative minds. We're in this industry because we are artistic and we are creative, and you should never box yourself in. Of course, the photographer is the priority always, in my personal opinion, and it is part of your job to like lead the day more so than anybody else. You have to know how to pose people, how to organize family for family photos. Like, those are things that I never take charge of because it's not part of like my job description. But otherwise, like, everything else is still a creative process, and it's so much easier to do when everyone's collaborative.
Yeah, and on the same page. Yeah, you said it best. Yeah. Bravo.
Yeah,
I like it.
And I think what's really cool about that is that what you said, and I don't feel. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like, the photographer kind of has the lead, and I do say that a lot. Like, as photographers,
True.
even us, you really. I mean, wedding planners.
I knew you were going to go there.
Well, I'm just saying.
no, but you're right. You're right.
Because
Like, I know where
wedding
you're going
planners
with
do
this.
have a place
Of course.
in this
of
business,
course.
right?
Totally.
Yeah.
But if a couple just doesn't want a wedding planner, or they can't afford a wedding
Yeah.
planner, or they just don't need one, the photographer really is the wedding planner for the day. Like, we start out with the bride and groom on the engagement shoot. We're talking to them from the day they book all the way up until, like, because guess what? They're going to want to find out, hey, what time do I need to tell my hair and makeup to start?
Yeah.
What time do I need to be there? What time do the guys have to be there? They're always coming to the photographer, right? And then you and I, we just bounce off and say, okay, this is what we got. You'll
Yeah,
be there,
yep,
right? And when
bam.
we do
Yeah,
that.
yep.
So with you, when you were there, and I remember, and I didn't mind this at all, because you did absolutely amazing with the lay flats and everything that you were doing.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, whoa, I don't have to do a thing. She already did it.
Do you call it lay flat, not flat lay?
A flat lay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Didn't get to
Maybe
my coffee
different
yet.
people
Lay
call
flat,
it.
yeah, no,
I feel like
flat
I've heard
lay.
of both ways, though. Maybe I'm making
I
maybe my
actually
coffee
have.
hasn't hit yet.
I actually have heard of both, but it's just the way they came out.
Meh.
But your artistic way of setting up those detail shots, let's just call it that. That's what it is,
Yeah.
right? It's an artistic way of putting the rings, the shoes, the invitation, whatever else is there, and in a nice,
People love
organized picture. And when you did it, I was like, nothing for us to change. This is perfect.
Yeah.
So why change it, right?
And I always ask, like, I've worked with other photographers before too, and they're saying, I'm like, do you mind if I, like, oh, yeah, of course. I feel like I'd ask, because some people just are like, I'm going to take that. It's like, oh, maybe just ask first, because they set up. But yeah, like, it looks great. Everybody loves that theme. I feel like it's just like, it's very, like,
And I just thought of our title for this podcast: flat,
Lay flat.
lay flat versus
lay
flat.
flat, lay down.
Well, so that's actually another factor of it. I love making my own flat lays, or like just arranging the details, not even on a flat lay mat, like just like on a windowsill or a
that's
nearby
great.
chair or something. And especially that, like, I don't feel like I'm stepping on anybody's toes when I do that. I'm sorry if anybody else feels like that's weird, but a lot of things that I see sometimes, like photographers or videographers will be like, well, why does there have to be all three vendors? At that point, we're like stealing each other's like intellectual or like artistic property. And I never want to do that. I never want to stand shoulder to shoulder, all three of us, and get the exact same angle of the exact same thing. I want to run around and make sure that I'm like shooting through a bush or something like that, to make sure that we're all getting a different perspective on the day.
Correct.
And that starts with the morning, with the details. Like I want to
There's only
photograph
one ring,
the shoes
like, you know, like one wedding
differently.
band. Yeah, and I agree. Like,
Yeah.
you got to take what you have and create with it. And if I don't know why people have such issues.
But that's also goes into a photographer coming there with a second shooter, right? The second shooter's main job is really to get different angles. It is to assist the photographer 100%.
Right.
But it also is to get different angles that the main photographer cannot get.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is 100% correct. I love it.
Thanks.
So tell us more.
Proved.
Tell you more how I got started.
Yeah, I wanna hear
That's
how
what I
you
wanted
got
to ask.
started.
Should I just talk
that was
about
my
how much
bullet
I love
point.
you guys the
You
whole
can tell
time?
us that
Yes,
the whole time.
I think you should sneak that into every bullet point we ask you. It'd be like,
To
"You guys are
summarize,
awesome."
you loved us, we
Yes.
were great, and that. All right.
But well, that was so that's one of the questions I had. So what made you do this? Like, when did you? I didn't want to say like even wake up one day, but like what made you say like, you know what? Well, I guess you did that essentially, right? You woke up one day, said, you know what? I'm gonna make coffee, and then I'm gonna think of a good idea.
No, wait till you hear our answer because we
Exactly.
spoke about this
Always
before.
coffee first.
Where is yours, by the way?
On the floor.
We were supposed to do the line.
It's okay. I got the water.
Oh, we got
I'm gonna be
Stanley.
okay.
She's
We
got
got.
Stan.
We have
Stan.
Stan.
Who doesn't have a Stanley these days, right?
Okay, so after I actually went to college for political science, thought I was going to be a politician. Obviously, that didn't happen.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet. Always time. But I.
We'll keep this podcast not political for now. 'Cause he doesn't-
For now, yeah.
Yeah, right out. Yeah.
But then I also had a degree in communications with like a focus in media and marketing. And after college, I was doing the thing that I'm sure all college students today do, just apply to 4,000 jobs under the sun and hope that something bites or something interests them.
Right.
And nothing really was. And I was kind of just navigating like what to do next.
Yeah.
And my best friend at the time was opening a hair salon. And I was like, you know what? Let me help you with like promoting it on Instagram and getting kind of attention
That's awesome.
towards the hair salon. And you need content and like fun stuff to do that. And so I started helping her with that. And then one day I go to the dentist. And my dental hygienist, you know how dentists always talk to you and ask you about your life.
Yeah,
So
but
she
just
starts.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
that guy.
Is so
I
awkward.
want to get weird. I want to get weird.
another
Like,
podcast.
so how you been doing? Uh-huh. All right, great. Yeah, great.
Right. And he did that. Did Novocaine,
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're hitting one hair on my tooth. We love it. Go ahead.
So she starts asking me what I've been up to. I start telling her about it, whatever. She works on my teeth, comes back 5 minutes later, and she's like, Lisa, do you know how to make a TikTok? And I was like, yeah, why?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And come to find out, she's part-time dental hygienist, part-time wedding photographer, and
Oh,
she
wow.
really wanted help, like building up her social media and growing her following and all that stuff. So I was like, whatever, I could do this. I just started working with her. I didn't know anything. I knew
Did
absolutely.
you do a
I
TikTok
love
prior
that,
to
though.
that day?
Oh,
or
of
no?
course I
Yeah,
did.
you
I had
right?
a background in like video editing. I've always been like the photo video
Oh,
friend. Like also, you know, my generation grew up with that.
Yeah.
So we've always been like, which picture should I post on Instagram? Like all of that, or like,
Yeah,
can you
yeah.
edit out my fat or whatever.
That's that
I've
generation.
never heard that question before. What do you mean?
So I started doing all of that when I was like 12. I was like obsessed with YouTube. I learned how to edit on iMovie when I was like 11 or 12. I had a background in it, like loosely,
That's
but I
awesome.
didn't know I wasn't a social media manager at the time.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just like, yeah, I'm gonna try this.
Yeah.
And I went online. I learned as much as I could about it, and like used a little bit of like college knowledge for that. But
College
you know that, I don't know why that rhymed.
That was great.
Yeah, it was.
That was well. Dr.
Yeah.
Seuss. Yeah.
And I started working with her, and at some point I was like, okay, I can't use like other people's videos because I just don't trust them to record what I would record. So I started going to all the weddings with her and recording my own content so that I could make these reels and these TikToks and edit stuff to put together for her. And I loved it. And then I
great.
started meeting other photographers in the industry and started working with them, like getting content for their business and showcasing them and what they do and what the day looks like. And then I was like, all right, well, I would like a little bit more creative freedom
Yeah.
and a little bit more money.
Yeah.
And
Don't we all,
I should
right?
just start doing this directly for couples and for brides.
That's interesting. So it's snowballed. You would say it snowballed into the photo video industry of like you working for them, where eventually you were like, hold on, I'll just do this, right?
Yeah.
I like that. That's cool. Yeah.
And I still love working with
course.
vendors and like doing the social media management side of it.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, this is like the most important thing I'm going to say today. That experience working with the vendors first is invaluable. I've seen so many people's different workflows. I've seen so many venues. I've met so many other vendors that I wouldn't have otherwise. And if I picked up a phone yesterday and just said, hey guys, I'm giving away a free wedding, like please let me come for, to build up my portfolio or whatever, I wouldn't know anything about the flow of a wedding day, where you need to be, where you can't be, whose way to not get into, like how to not disturb everything that is already like planned minute by minute.
Yeah.
And I think if there are any like budding content creators listening out there, or anybody who wants to get into this industry,
Talk to them.
offer your services to other vendors. You will gain so much experience. They will reap the benefits of having content for their social media and help them grow and like showcase themselves. And it's just the best possible way to get started.
I gotta, based off what you said, I'll always die on this hill. I love this. So you're saying the hands-on experience paved the way.
Oh, 100%.
I completely
100%.
agree with that. Versus like you can watch something on YouTube, and I'm not saying again, never like saying that's not beneficial, but like being there, experiencing it, knowing the red lines or whatever. I completely agree with you on that, and I love that you said that because we said that the first episode or two. It was just like
Absolutely.
you got to get out there, like and do it.
Like we were
Yeah.
talking about, there's so many tutorials that you can, before we started this podcast, Mark knows I research like everything. And I was looking at, YouTubes on podcasts and how long they should be and what you should do and how to talk about before you get on camera, all this stuff. But until you actually started filming,
Yeah,
you don't really know until you start going. So I completely agree with that hands-on experience.
exactly.
And I think for you, like, I want everybody out there in the photography video world to realize that social content creators here, like Lisa, are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. There's a place for them. And if you have the opportunity to work with her, you're going to be amazed by her talent because she is really talented. She's really awesome to work with. And I just think the whole day went just as well it would have been, with somebody else there. But she was there, and it was great.
You're just gracious.
Yeah.
Like you were just, everybody respected everybody's lanes per se, but we all just like merged well together. You know what I mean?
We're having a good time.
Yeah, 100%.
And
Very cool.
Sorry, I don't think the mic picked up on any of that. Could you say it one more time?
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
she's
So what we're
good.
trying to say here.
so what we're trying to say is that this social content creator here, Big Day BTS, I have it correct?
Yes.
We're going to
yes.
go over your socials in a minute. Guys, just realize this. If you're hesitant because your couple says to you, listen, I didn't hire a videographer, it wasn't in our budget, whatever the case is, whatever the excuses, we don't know what people's excuses are. And maybe 90% of the time it might be budget. I don't know.
Right.
Just accept it, work together, because at the end of the day, what is our main goal out of everybody is to make that couple have the best experience on their wedding day,
Yeah.
right? And you're not just doing weddings. If you're going to an event or you're doing BTS for a company, your goal is to make that company, flourish
Yeah,
and get
exactly.
more content or whatever it is, right? And leading into that, getting to know you and getting to know your work, and I won't mention the magazine that I referred you to, but they reached out to me asking me if I could do something, and I wasn't available. And I said, well, before you look elsewhere, I have somebody for you, and you got some work out of that. So it's all about networking,
Yeah,
right? It's all about networking.
for sure.
And I think that, what you're doing, there's plenty of opportunity out there for others to join in on that.
Yeah.
And just like, we're talking about, becoming a photographer, becoming a videographer. And I like to start using the word cinematographer too. It sounds
All right.
really
We
cool,
can use them, yeah.
I think just the whole business. And I do got to touch on something, though, that you had mentioned the other day.
Okay.
I'm not going to display your age or anything, because we're all like.
Uh-oh.
But I was asking you a question on the phone the other day. I'm like, I'm wondering where the brides are. That's kind of weird, right? And I was talking to you about how
this is good.
right?
She's like, where are you going with this?
No, because it really resonated with me what she said. because I have a son her age, and
Yes.
and
Did
I
you guys know each other?
Like
In a-
from
briefly,
childhood,
yeah.
like
Okay.
very.
it was
By the way.
funny, right?
That was kind of cool. Yeah.
And again, it's not like we pause for a little bit and we're like, where are these brides? And then all of a sudden we're booking weddings just like we did this past week.
Yeah.
But you made a very good point about this generation of men and women out there in that age group, somewhere between maybe 25 to 30, 28, 30, somewhere in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so expensive to get married. So expensive, even if it's New Jersey, to live here, right? I mean, rent is out of the roof, insurance is skyrocketing, but
crazy.
just what it costs to get married, to hire, vendors, to hire, getting a wedding venue. I mean, the deposit on a wedding venue has got to be crazy these days,
They're going up too.
right? So, your generation, like you said, can't afford to get married right now,
Yeah.
and I get it. And I was like, wow, poof, like,
Yeah, we just are so used to the same, like, all right, what is it this year? What is it this year? But yeah, you're right. I mean, you look at these statistics here that I have right in front of me. No, it's true though. Everything is just really
or they're getting
expensive.
engaged and they're waiting a few years to save up some money.
But I'm okay with the idea. I'm a very out of the box, like anti-establishment. So I'm like, okay, you want to play this game and everything's so expensive, then it's like, all right, well, we'll have like a kick-ass wedding in the backyard with lights and flowers and all this beautiful stuff, and it comes out pretty cool. I've seen it. You know what I mean? Like I've done like backyard weddings, and it's like you hear it and everyone's like, oh, backyard wedding. But I mean, we've done some that are like
We've done
you
some
can
nice
really like make it look extravagant, and
You
you're like,
absolutely could, but another factor of that is who has the time to put that all together.
a great point.
And a lot of people don't even realize like what that's gonna be like
Oh, it's
without a
massive.
coordinator, without a planner, without somebody catering the whole thing. Like
Yeah.
that's really time consuming. So obviously
Very much so.
people would opt to just, here's a building
Yep.
with all the chairs already in it and all
True.
the plates already
Yeah.
polished.
yep.
So,
true.
Yeah.
but yeah, my generation, I don't know what the hell is going on, but like in my experience, nobody my age can afford to live right now.
Yeah,
Let alone
it's
a
just
wedding.
true
So-
stuff.
Yeah.
A wedding is honestly like one of the last things on my mind in terms of like the near future, because I'm not going to ask my parents to pay for that. If somebody is fortunate enough to have their parents pay for it, then that's great. I know like traditionally it's like, oh, the parents of the bride, chip in the most.
Formalities, yeah.
Yeah, but all of that, it's getting insane, and we know better than anybody because we actually set the prices that are, could be perceived as insane.
Yeah.
And something you guys were talking about before I got
Ooh,
here.
do it.
You mentioned how like the verbiage that people use in these Facebook groups. The Facebook groups are like kind of our bread and butter. Like we all check them pretty often.
Absolutely.
But when people say, looking for so and so that doesn't cost an arm and a leg,
Yeah.
looking for something that's not going to break the bank. I don't know how easily your bank is going to break.
I know.
I don't
Yeah.
know what your
so
arm
true.
or your leg costs.
Right.
And it could be very different than mine.
Right.
So
Good point.
anybody, like any couples that are listening, please avoid that vague terminology because it's not helping you find the right
Yeah,
vendors. It's not
correct.
helping us know what your budget is. Just write what your minimum
Solid
range
point.
is.
Yeah, because you're
honest.
casting such a big net. You're talking. You're
Yeah.
gonna get bottom to the top. And it's like, and then you might be wasting like all these people's times. Essentially, well, not maybe a waste of time, but everybody's out here putting energy into this thing that just is like, oh, well, you're not even on my list. So it's like,
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
like, all right, well, let me know like what you're cooking with or what numbers you want to hang out with. And
I screenshotted it, and the verbiage was looking for someone who takes pictures that's not a fortune.
Like, what the hell
So
does
that
that
is
mean?
so like vague.
Yeah.
But then the comments were like, "Hey, me," and I'm
Because
like,
people are gonna comment anyway.
right.
Like,
But I'm
they're
like,
just...
what are we looking to take pictures for? And I think this might have been spam or something. Anyway, it
Mm-hmm.
just didn't make sense because everyone that
we do see
commented
a
on it,
lot.
nobody ever got an answer back. So it's just you have to watch these Facebook posts too. It's not really. That's why I call it Facebook.
Yeah. Well, navigating this whole thing, you're right. It is definitely the waters are choppier. It's like, good luck. Here's your little dinghy. There's a waterfall coming up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like true. It's just, it's a lot. I'm like, so I just moved out. It took me till 29 to move out
Yeah,
in
you're
New
a
Jersey
perfect example of this.
because
Jump
I'm
in
just like, what?
there. I said you're a perfect
Yeah.
example of this. Jump
Jumping
there.
in.
It's expensive,
I'm
though, to
still,
live
yeah,
out, right?
yeah, no, it is. And like, and then, just bills and everything comes. It's like adulthood. And it's like, it almost robs you though of like, you see these, it's my roommate just showed me something recently and it was so cool. It's like, I feel robbed of this. And it's just these people in a house young. And it's like, I mean, I personally, I don't want kids or anything like that, but like, it's just all these people with like kids growing up. It's like, there are people that can't even start that life for themselves because, they're smart enough to say financially, I can't do this. But like, you only live once. Like, I'm going to be 30 in a month. And it's just like, and I'm just like,
gross.
ew,
30.
terrible. Like, is there handicap
Jeez,
parking?
I
in
wish
here?
I was 30 again.
So it's like, I'm just like, my 20s are gone. It's like, I will never be able to have that back. And it's like, I just got a place at 29. And it's like, wow, like, I could have had a place this whole time, but not really. You know what I mean? Like, so I know what you mean of like, it's a tough time to navigate.
It's a double-edged sword because on the one hand, you're like, I want to start my life. I want to feel independent. I want all these opportunities that I wouldn't otherwise have. But then you're like, would be nice to milk it for a little longer.
Kind of, right? Listen, let me tell you, I don't miss, when I did live at home, I definitely don't miss paying rent. And it's like, oh, hey, JCP&L, you went up? Like, thanks. It's like all these bills are just like,
Real life scenarios.
They're just coming around every month. I'll try to make them the same day. I'm like, let's just do it. Like, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I actually have something else I want to talk to you guys about.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. What do we got, Lisa?
So, going from the Facebook groups,
Okay.
I'm sure you guys have been seeing a lot of similar posts to what I've been seeing. And this also ties into my generation. I know you guys have your own opinions on this, but
Let's talk.
I might
What
be a little
podcasts are for?
controversial here.
Oh,
Let's
hit
go.
the vape. No.
You better hit that vape now.
Hit that pen.
So this might be a little controversial, but on the topic of Facebook groups, I've seen a lot of people in the industry posting about ghosting. I rhymed again.
Yes.
Um,
Posting and ghosting.
yeah.
You only get one more, okay? No,
So
keep it going. I love it.
I personally believe that is a little bit of a mark of my generation because let's be honest, we are the people that normalized ghosting and made it such a widespread
fair enough.
thing of just like we're always on our phones, nothing is real, nothing is permanent, nothing is personal because you're behind a screen. So you get to open a message and never respond and nobody cares that much, even though of course everybody cares, but it's just such a normalized thing. And now that's extending to vendors, like that decency of like sending an extra email or getting back to someone on time or even taking a phone call on time and not postponing it every 45 minutes thinking that we're just here at your beck and call.
Yeah.
All of that I think is also an aspect of like this younger generation, my generation, starting to get married. And I'm gonna let you guys give your opinions on the ghosting.
Right.
Personally, I don't think anybody owes their vendors an explanation. I don't think anybody has the time to sit there and write an email saying, hey, I'm not going with you for these reasons. Obviously, it would be nice to hear like, sorry, you're out of my budget or whatever reason. But I think from a bride's perspective, you're emailing 50 photographers at a time. You're not going to give every single one of them an explanation.
Yeah. No, and I like what you said. I'll just
I see that point.
Let me just go real
Yeah,
quick,
no, go
and
for
then you go.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have a little cappuccino and stew on it.
And I love that you said your generation, because like in my generation, like, I would say that, getting back to people is probably one of the things that, I grew up with,
Of
right?
course,
Especially, and I've been shooting weddings since 2008. And, I think the term ghosting was definitely, originated in that era. But it did happen back then. Of course, I mean, when I start shooting weddings, you don't absolutely hear from every client.
Yeah.
But
They didn't Morse code you back.
I think it's more for me, it's like you're kind of holding the date. And again, I don't think they need to give you a reason. I completely 100% agree with that. I think if a bride and groom don't go with a vendor, it's just for their own personal reason. That's completely fine. I would like to see, and I do get this all the time, either, hey, we want to go with you, or, hey, we went a different direction. And I write back simply, oh, no worries, best of luck to you and, whoever. I think that's all you need. Mm-hmm. The part I just don't like is like, you reached out, I reached back, gave you, took my time to give you a breakdown of what I can offer you, told you about the venue that you're maybe getting married at, that I've been there before, maybe not have been there before, whatever the case may be. I just feel like it could be just a mutual respect, just set back, hey, look, we're not going, whatever, we're in a different direction. But what is your take?
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess for me, and I see what you're saying too, I know where you're coming from and I get it. Like, I could see from the perspective of like, I have to message all these people. Like, I'm dealing with all these people. I'm obviously only going to go with like one or two or whatever, however it works. I guess for me, like, I'm the type of person, I'm like, I'm going to make sure you got this. I'm like, maybe you didn't. Because if you're anything like me, stuff falls off the plate all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I want to make sure that you got everything you needed. And if you're not interested, if you let me know, not a problem. But now I know, like, hey, like, I don't have to send you another email because I'm thinking, oh, you know what? They're probably so busy they didn't see it. Like, it's funny. I'm actually working on a client now that you would think maybe doesn't want to use me, but they're like, no, they're like, I really want to book you. I just haven't had the time to do it.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, I mean, this ball has been punted
But are
since
they
like January.
But they're still communicating
yeah, every blue moon.
every blue moon.
But
yeah.
it's like you get to the point where you're like, are you still interested? I just reach out one more time, like, hey, just want to follow up. I'm doing my follow-ups. You know, you're in that list. Did you want to? Like, oh, no. They're like, yo, no, thank you for reaching out. They're like, I do. I got to go over with my husband or something like that. And then it's like, quiet again. I'm like, oh, all right, let's, let me know.
Like, and also, we just don't know what they're going through either. And sometimes it's easy for us to judge, like, why can't they just get back? But we don't know that they may have something personal going on. There's a lot of different reasons why. And I think maybe, like, it was a great point that you brought that up. Because now, like, I'm going to take a step back at this now and see, like, all right, they don't want you, they don't want you. If they want you, know the brides that book you right away, they want you.
Exactly.
They want you. They're booking you just like your guy.
Yeah.
Boom, we like Manny.
Amazing.
Boom, you were together, bumped up. That wedding was booked in a day. So.
But that's true, though.
They're still out there.
She did make that is a good point.
That is
Like,
a
that
good
makes
point.
sense. Like now if I'm getting an inquiry from somebody around them, like that age group or whatever, it's like, oh, maybe it makes sense I didn't answer. Like it's just like in their mind, it's like no biggie. You know what I
Or
mean?
you know what? It's different after you've had maybe like your initial phone call with them or like even a Zoom or whatever.
Yeah.
Now that's a person to you. Now you've seen their face. Now
Right.
you've felt what it's like to talk to them. Maybe you had a little bit of banter or you formed a connection or
Yeah.
something and they've gotten to hear from you. So you're a real person to them now.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas before that, again, if they're inquiring to 50 different photographers,
Right.
it gets blurred. Like one of
Yeah.
my best friends is getting married right now and all she says every day is I feel insane. I feel like a psychopath
Yeah.
because all of these
Overwhelmed, yeah.
photographers are blending together for me.
bet, yeah.
I don't know who to keep reaching out to. Like this person's not getting back to me, but this person I don't know if I really want to book. So it's really overwhelming from their side of it.
Yeah.
And I think for us, it's like part of our job to keep track of every individual
Yeah.
bride and every individual conversation. Whereas for them, it's so new.
And I have to say this real quick before I lose my train of thought on that one. What you just said, like all these brides, like all these vendors reaching out to the couples. For me, especially not just like in weddings, but if I needed a mechanic,
Yeah.
I'm calling somebody that like I'm looking for that referral. Like, who's your mechanic? Oh, this guy's great. Use
Yeah.
him. I'm going to use that person.
Correct.
Because I know my buddy or whoever referred him is good.
Yeah.
Or if let's say you need dermatology, you have skin issues. Okay, who's your dermatologist? I love them. You might get 2 or 3, but then you find the one that you like.
Yeah.
So I feel like when they have this saturation of vendors reaching out, couples could, look at who are you referring? Like who's your friends maybe they've used in the past? Because those referrals are important. Just like if somebody's reaching out for, somebody that needs what you're doing, you're my go-to. Videography is always this guy here. Always. It's number one.
Yeah.
And if it's not him, then it's Jason, and then, we go on from there. We have our DJs. We have everything. We have hair and makeup. We have everything that we need to do to get a wedding
Right.
or any event off the floor. And those are all what I like to call our network of referrals.
Yeah.
So maybe the brides can start kind of looking at like, well, do you have any referrals? And, especially your age group, they're not there yet. So maybe they don't know. But before we wrap up though, what do you see yourself doing moving forward? Like now that you're got involved with weddings and you're doing some events and, you got some other things going on, where do you see yourself in the next year or so?
In the next year?
In the next year or so, yeah. Like do you want to expand more weddings? Do you want to get into something different?
Well, it's funny that you asked that because honestly, I'm really, really excited
If
about.
she tells us she's moving out of state, I'm gonna be so mad.
No. I'm really, really excited about all the weddings I have booked for 2026 so far. I was like just reflecting on that the other day. Not to say that I'm not excited about my 2025 brides, of course, but like some of them have been booked from, like a year and a half ago when I like really did not know like what starting a business was going to be like and like doing things on my own. So now that I feel a lot more confident to like speak to brides and book them and like actually sell myself in a positive way and to work with other vendors, even if I've never worked at that venue or with those people before, I just feel a lot more confident about it. And now I feel more confident to actually like take on the weddings that I think are gonna like be fulfilling
Inspiring.
and inspiring. And like our job is first and foremost about creativity. Obviously, like money is money, work is work, whatever. But it also feels really good if you're going to be somewhere for 8 to 10 to 12 hours.
Yes, it does.
It should feel good.
Yeah.
And now when I'm looking at like all my stuff for 2026, I'm really, really excited about it. And I kind of want to like maintain that feeling and keep booking people that I instantly click with, that I think are really cool and fun and appreciate me, not as just like, oh, I just want to hire somebody, but like genuinely say like, I love your work and I love you, and we had a great call, and we're gonna be best friends for that day.
I'm a big energy person. All right, at least I try my best to be.
No, you
and you know what? Like confidence. Like you're radiating confidence, and I know what your work is. Like first and foremost,
She's very
so I'm not
confident,
even
which is very
like
good.
like, but that's amazing because when you go into that with that confidence, you will book jobs. Like you're almost manifesting it. You know what I mean? And it's like this is gonna be awesome. Like this is great, and you're gonna do it. You're gonna execute on it, and that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be awesome.
But that's why this is like coming full circle.
Yeah.
That is what I felt working with you guys like right from the morning. There's nothing worse than that like crushing feeling of like I can't even open my mouth and make a suggestion right now because the photographer or videographer is going to shoot me down or say that we don't have time for it or whatever. Like that's how you guys made me feel right away, and then I'm even more confident because I'm like, oh
well,
my
now
gosh,
we're both
I'm actually
radiating off of each other. Yeah, like
Yeah.
our energies are linked,
It's a team effort.
aligned, and
I always say it's a team effort, right?
Yeah.
No matter who we're shooting with, even if the videographer is not you, I'm still going in there with an open mind, saying we're gonna have a great day.
Yeah, you have to.
You know. So where can people find you? Talk about your social handles. Where
The mics
can they
are on,
find you?
right? Nice and loud.
So you can find me on Instagram under Big Day BTS, and you can also find me on TikTok under big.day. I'm getting confused now. big.day.bts because the regular one was taken.
She's a TikToker.
Dots.
Yeah, I told you guys I would get tongue tied at least.
That's okay.
once.
So Lisa, I have
Saved it
something
till the
for
end.
you. If you turn to your left and grab that little,
What's left?
your left.
Okay.
What's left?
Stage
I'm
left.
not
that
good at left and
generation.
right. This?
This is for you. This is a little token of your appreciation for being our first guest. It's
Oh
an
my
official
gosh,
MTC photography hoodie
thanks.
sweatshirt for you.
Yay!
Yes.
All right.
Yay!
Yeah.
Hold on. Question.
Yes.
Does MTC not stand for your initials?
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh, it's
Oh,
both.
you had to
great.
talk
I
about
love-
that.
It's both because it's
Real?
moments to capture, but I
Correct.
always thought it was MTC your name.
It is.
Okay,
Yeah, it
so
is.
I'm a
My
genius.
middle name is Thomas. My last name Carabel. Yes, and it stands for Moments to Capture. And thank you very much for bringing that up.
Hey.
You never asked that question.
I knew
Yeah,
it.
but you knew it. Though.
I knew it. I had insider information.
All right, everybody. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode of All in Focus, the Creators Podcast. We want to thank Lisa again for coming on. She's amazing.
Yes, pleasure. I
You
love
guys are out there needing a social content creator, not just for weddings, but for anything. We're going to use her too for BTS because we have a lot of stuff coming up. Mark, always a pleasure having you here
Yes,
today,
sir.
my man. And we'll see you next time. Mark, you have any closing words?
Well, I would say this. I'm going to steal one from Derek.
Oh, I know it.
Should I do
Please-
it?
Please do.
Everything is everything.
Everything is everything. Stay focused. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks again.
Take care, guys.
Bye.